Hello guys, so in today's video we're going to be learning how to symbolize and label our dataset within our ArcGIS software. So as you have seen in the previous videos, we uploaded our qualitative dataset into our project, which is the ArcGIS Pro tutorials project that we created. And within this project I also got the chance to add a few more datasets. As you can see, I've added another dataset which contains Zimbabwean administrative boundaries, and I've also added another dataset which contains the coronavirus case situation as of today. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to label and symbolize your data. As you can see within this qualitative dataset, okay, just give that a second. Okay, as you can see within this qualitative dataset, we have pumps and we have qualitative depths. So in order for us to distinguish between these points, we need to put symbols which are outstanding in order for us to visualize which are the pumps, which are the depths. So I'm just going to click here on pumps, and then I'm just going to right click, and then I'm going to go to symbology. Okay, so now in symbology, there are quite a lot of options that you can use in order to label our pumps. But in this case, I'm just going to use a singular because it's just one data set. We just didn't have a lot of attributes. So I'm just going to select a symbol which I want to use for the qualitative data set with the pumps. I'm sorry. So just gonna search, try to see if we have any pumps within our symbol database. No, we don't have any. Okay, so I'm just gonna look for something with water. Okay, there we have something with water. These are not quite the symbols, but okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to select this symbol in order to represent these pumps. Don't mind the symbols. You just have to select symbols which fit the criteria, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to select just random symbols. Okay, so now that I've selected this random symbol, I'm just going to click on properties. In order for these symbols to stand out among the rest, I'm just going to increase their size. As you can see, we have a preview of the symbol that we just added here. So I'm just going to increase the size to maybe about 17, and then I'm going to click apply. Okay, as you can see within our map, now we are able to see these pumps within our map. As you can see, there's one here, there's another one there, another one there, another one. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so now I need to symbolize these depths. So just gonna go on depth here. Just gonna go on depth here, and automatically you don't close the symbology panel. That's the one thing. That's one advantage about using ArcGIS Pro. Unlike in ArcMap, when we had to reopen again this symbol tab, we're just gonna click on color depths, and it automatically goes to this panel. So I'm just gonna find a symbol that we're gonna be using. So I'm just going to use the default one, but I'm just going to change the color. I'm just going to put it to red to represent depth, and I'm just going to increase the symbols to maybe about 5, and then I'm just going to click on apply. Okay, now that's it. So this is how you select symbols when you're using point dataset. Okay, so that's done for the first part when you're using symbology. Now let's go for symbology when we're using polygon data. I'm just gonna go. We have our polygon data here. Okay, so there's one thing that I'm going to do which is going to speed up this tutorial. I'm just going to turn off this base map because we don't really need it, because it'll be processing these base maps every time we move this layer in the background. So okay, so now we have a lot of maps here, and in the end we end up getting confused. So I'm just going to label up these maps. I'm just going to right click on this map, and then I'm just gonna go on properties, and then I'm just gonna label this one as color. Okay, and then I'm gonna go on the Zimbabwean data. I'm just gonna go as right click and label this one as Zim admin boundary. Okay, that's done. Then this one, I'm just gonna name it COVID. Okay, just gonna name this one Sim COVID. Okay, so that will make this tutorial easy whenever we need to select a map without having to guess. Okay, so now we have, as you can see in Zimbabwe, we have we have three main boundaries here. Okay, we have the first one, admin 2, which is the districts in Zimbabwe. I'm just going to turn this off, and then we're left with the provinces, and then turn this off, then we're left with the whole polygon data set for the whole country. So I'm just going to turn everything off. As you can see, we don't have anything on our screen. So now what I want to map is I just want to map the provinces which are within the country. Okay, so now on these provinces, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to try to symbolize these provinces. So I'm not going to use the same color throughout, because there are 10 provinces in Zimbabwe, and each province has a different name. So I'm just going to use the unique value, which can also be called the categorical. Okay, so now which field are we going to use to label our features? Okay, so I'm just going to show you one thing. If you go here to our data set and then right click, we go on our attribute table. Okay, so now when you check the attribute table, you're just going to see which fields we're going to be using. As you can see, the names are within this one, which is called name_1, which is the name of the provinces. Okay, so I'm just going to use this field to represent to label my data set. So I'm just gonna close this feature table. So I'm just gonna go here on field 1. I'm just gonna select the name of that attribute column, and then as you can see now, automatically it picks up all the names of these into our data. Okay, so there we have it. So these are the names of our provinces. As I have told you that we have 10 provinces in Zimbabwe, so here there's 10 values, there's Bulawayo, Harare, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so now so now what we want to do is we want to label our polygon using the names of each and every province. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this symbology panel, and I'm just going to right click again on our data set. Then this time I'm going to go on label. Okay, as you can see, I've clicked on label, and it automatically picks up a column at random from the attribute table. So in this case, it picked up the country column, but we don't want to represent the country because we already know the country. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on labeling properties, because we want to label each and every province using the name of the province. So as you've seen from our attribute data, the name of the column was name_1. So in this case, it used the name_0 to label this, which contains the country name. So I'm just gonna go here, and then I'm just gonna change this to 1, and then I'm just gonna verify if the expression is valid, and then yes, it's valid. Then I'm just gonna apply the changes that I've made. Okay, so there it has changed all the labeling properties for our different kind of provinces. So as you've seen, you can use different types of languages when you want to label this. We have Arcade, VB-script, JavaScript, and Python. So I would recommend, if you're a beginner, I'd recommend it for you to use the Arcade one, especially if you're going to be using the names of, if you're going to be using variable. If your variables are going to be characters, but if you're going to have numeric values, then maybe you can use Python, because maybe you want to express some expressions and do a lot of mathematical operations. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go on the symbol here. Okay, so just gonna change the appearance of these labels. As you can see, this is the default font. So some people might prefer to use different font styles for their maps, so I'm just gonna leave. So here, if you go here, there's quite a list of fonts which you can choose from. Okay, so I'm one person who's used to the Times New Roman, so I'm just gonna pick on Times New Roman here, and then I'm just gonna increase my size a little bit to 11, and then I'm just gonna put an outline to my symbols, and then I'm just gonna put the outline color to white. Okay, so as you can see, we have a preview here. So you already see, before applying, we already see that the white that I just put does not really display our data correctly and becomes a bit messy. So I'm just gonna go back and return on black, or otherwise let me just remove this outline color. for us to just be safe. Okay. So I'm just going to click on apply, and the changes are going to be applied to the map. Okay, yeah. Okay, the changes have been applied, and then you can also change the positioning of your symbols. Like you want to place the symbols at the center of the polygon or at the end. As you can see here, you can actually select in which quadrant you want to place the symbols, but this tutorial I'm not going to do this. You're going to do this on your own. You want to explore much of the data. Okay, so that's it when you are displaying categorical data within a polygon. So now we want to represent, let's say we want to represent COVID data. As you know, COVID data is the all numerics, and sometimes we don't have to be using these categories. Maybe we have to label our data in a continuous variable way. Okay, so now as if you've seen, I had the CSV which had data for COVID-19 from the 1st of February in 2021. So what I do is I had to create a partial join, and then using the polygon data. So you can see that the polygon data was the data for every province in the country, and then my COVID data now, it was a CSV file. So what I had to basically do was to create a join, and then now my polygon for Zimbabwe now contains this coronavirus data. I'm just gonna show you the data that I joined. Okay, don't worry about how you can do this join. We're gonna be explaining this in our next tutorial video, so don't worry about that. So as you can see here, these are the attributes for the data before we had to join. Okay, so now for the coronavirus data, which was in the CSV file here, it had the name of the provinces and the number of cases recorded, deaths, active cases, and the population, blah blah blah, and XY coordinates and the name of the person who added the data. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to represent, let's say we want to map out the number of active cases in each and every province in the country. Okay, so now what we want to do is I'm just going to turn off these point symbols that we used to geocode, and then I'm just going to turn off this layer. So I'm just going to go here. Okay, let's turn off this labeling again, and then now just go here, and then now we want to symbolize the number of active cases. Okay, so I'm not going to pick a single symbol because we have multiple rolling data, so I'm just going to use the graduated colors in order for us to have sort of like continuous data. Okay, so which field am I going to use? You see, with ArcGIS Pro, it automatically picks up a field which it wants to use for like the default. I'm sure it should be the first field within your attribute data, but oh well, you're just going to pick the active cases here. And then we don't want to normalize, no. We want to use natural breaks. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then number of classes, you can also select the number of classes which you want to use for data. So I'm just going to pick 5. It makes our data a bit smart. And then this color of red, from yellow to red, isn't quite the color to represent the number of active cases. So I'm just going to pick a color which is quite good for the eyes, because the moment people start seeing red, they're gonna be shocked. So I'm just gonna find a color. Let's just say we want to use blue. Yeah, I'm just gonna take blue for example. Okay, yeah, so there's our blue, and okay, we have added our data we've added our symbology to our map. Okay, so some people might also want to label these provinces like what we did here. So basically what you have to do is you just have to repeat the step that you did here when we're labeling. But okay, let's say I want to label this data using the number of the active cases. So I'm just going to go on labeling again. Then I'm going to pick on labeling properties. Okay, as you have seen there, yeah. So I'm just gonna label using the name of the province, not the number of, because it becomes a bit awkward because we already have the scale, so there's no need for us to be labeling using a number again. Okay, so in this case I'm gonna use, as you've seen from that. Okay, let me just try to use another different column. What do you want to apply? Let me just use another different column for this. this type of labeling. Okay, so now we use the name _1 column. So but our data, COVID data, already has a column which is named province. So I want to label using this column named province in order to show you how we can do this. So let me just pin this tab onto the other tabs here. Okay, so I'm just gonna navigate back here, and then I'm just gonna change this to province. Okay, there, and then we validate the expression is valid, and then we click on apply. So it's gonna apply all those names to this polygon. Let's just give it a minute. I'm not sure it's taking time. Yeah, now our data is now labeled. So that's it, folks. So okay, one more thing. As you can see, I just typed this expression, but you can also pick from this. There's a fields table here which contains all the fields which are within the data set which is currently open. So as you can see here, we can also label using the name of the province is actually here. So all we need to do is just double click here. So I'm just gonna change this to show you how it works. I'm just gonna label it using the number of cases. So I double click on the number of cases, and then obviously it's gonna be valid, and then I just click on apply, and now it's going to display the number of the cases within each polygon, within each corresponding polygon. So yeah, there it is. And then yeah, you can do a lot of styling within your maps. So this is how you label and symbolize the data that you've been working with in your ArcGIS Pro. It's quite different from using ArcMap and using QGIS. So I hope this video is going to be helpful for those who will be using ArcGIS Pro. And if you like the video, please like and share this video for other people who would want to use and learn on these skills, as we're going to be creating more videos in the following period. So please also make sure you subscribe to the channel.